Now, I understand this is a bit of a sensitive subject, but I do think it needs to be said. Sometimes people say things on the internet. Now, on the off chance you haven't clicked off the video and contacted your local authorities, I'm afraid it gets worse. Sometimes when people say things on the internet, they're not even telling the truth. Video game hoaxes really feel like a bit of a lost art or a product of their time. You know, back in the day, it really kind of felt like if anything was remotely out of place or somewhat mysterious, people were immediately, sharing rumors across the playground and shit, racking their brains as to what it meant, or like connecting dots that didn't even exist to jump to conclusions that were just completely fucking out there. Very few people had internet access. It was very, very hard to fact check this stuff. For most people, the only real way you could disprove some batshit rumor was to actually go out and try it yourself. I think another factor in this is that it just kind of feels like video games back in the day had more wacky, wild secrets in them. Like, it felt like the developers really played into this sort of, word of mouth culture where people couldn't really fact check stuff, so they'd add stuff to their games that genuinely sounded like complete bullshit, but was actually true. Nowadays, you don't see this nearly as much because it's just so much easier to fact check this stuff that you can't get away with just saying bullshit about video games and expecting people to believe it. Like, if when the new Mario Strikers dropped, I said you could unlock Dark Luigi in the game and I provided, some very shitty screenshots and some elaborate method to unlock him, it just doesn't matter because fucking John Tendo 64 has already data mined the game 3 hours before it came out, and it's just not there. It doesn't hold up. I can't get away with my shit no more. Now, there is still sort of a culture around, rumors and hoaxes in video games, but it's not really about stuff that's hidden in the game anymore. It's more so about, leaks for post-launch content, which honestly, some of them have a lot of effort put into them, but they're not quite as fun in my opinion. Now, I'm definitely not trying to say that more people having access to the internet, destroyed video game hoaxes or anything like that. Because if anything, it kind of led to, a golden age of them. Yeah, it was easier to fact-check stuff online, but it was also easier to spread these rumors in the first place. And also, more people having access to the internet means more stupid kids have access to the internet. And you could fool them with literally anything. I mean, they thought this was real. Even I didn't fall for this when I was 14, and I was very dumb when I was 14. Nearly as dumb as I am now. I mean, look, I can't lie, I was part of the problem too. I made up my fair share of bullshit. I mean, when I was 14, I tricked my friend into believing that there was a secret animatronic in Five Nights at Freddy's called Spunky the Monkey. And to unlock him, you had to beat Night 6 without using the door lights, and then he'd appear on the kitchen camera in Custom Night. Obviously, complete bullshit. He believed me though, with no kind of evidence whatsoever. He was just like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't think he ever did it, I would imagine not, but he fell for it and I felt cool. However, personally speaking, the video game hoax that definitely means the most to me and I have the most history with is easily Waluigi being a secret unlockable character in Super Mario 64 DS. Now, the whole rumor around Waluigi being a secret character in Super Mario 64 DS is basically just Luigi being in Super Mario 64 again, but with significantly more internet fuckery going on, and significantly more gullible kids to trick. So, believe it or not, Waluigi is not in Super Mario 64 DS. That's just common knowledge at this point. The game's been heavily data mined and he's just not there. And I know some people point to the fact oh, you've got Mario, Luigi, Wario, but no Waluigi? That's so weird. How could they do that? Look, Super Mario 64 DS is nearly 18 years old. That shit came out in 2004, right? That's a long fucking time ago, and Waluigi was only 4 years old. Waluigi really didn't have anything going on back then at all. He was created so Wario could have a partner in Mario Tennis, and that pretty much sums up his existence. He's just a character you can play as in the Mario sports games, and honestly, his biggest achievement was having a really fucking cool board in Mario Party 3. So it'd be kinda weird for him to be fully playable in a game like Mario 64 DS, to be honest. Now, in fairness, the game did feature a lot of stuff that people kinda interpreted as hinting towards Waluigi. I mean, probably the most famous example is that in the manual for the game, there's this purple rabbit that doesn't appear anywhere in the game. See, in Super Mario 64 DS, each character had their own coloured rabbits that they had to catch to unlock minigames. There were pink for Mario, green for Luigi, orange for Wario, and yellow for Yoshi. This purple one doesn't appear anywhere in the game, so people assumed this was like Waluigi's rabbit. In reality, it's probably just what Wario's rabbit was originally gonna look like, because, I mean, he's got purple in his colour scheme, but this is probably the biggest thing that got people thinking about Waluigi. Another big thing people interpreted as like a Waluigi hint is the fact that in the room where you change characters, there are 4 doors, despite the fact that there are only 3 doors for changing characters. You've got Mario's door, Luigi's door, and Wario's door, and then you've just got this completely white blank one. Like, look, you can't lie, okay? This screams secret character. It really does. But no, in the game, it's just used to unlock a star. That's all it gets you. And if you try going in there after you've got the star, the character just gets scared by some booze and they run back out again.
Mamma mia!
This one was fucked up and evil. I can't lie. This one was messed up. Like, I cannot believe that's not, like, more than just a star. Fucked up. Maybe originally it was gonna be Yoshi's door? I don't know. Messed up. Pretty much everything after that, though, is just a massive fucking stretch. People said the box art hinted at Waluigi's existence in the game because the Mario had a red letter for Mario, a yellow one for Wario, 2 green letters for Luigi and Yoshi, and then this mysterious blue M. Which, like, shut the fuck up, dude. Waluigi doesn't even have any blue in his color scheme outside of his absolutely delectable eyeliner. People also pointed at the fucking circles on the floor in the minigame room because, like, oh, look, they've got circles for every character color, but there's also a purple one. And they looked at the fucking title screen because, look, there are buttons for every character's color, but here's a purple button. What? It's just... Yeah, no. People really fucking stretched with this, but, like, I guess that's part of the charm of it. Now, obviously, we can look back on this stuff and be like, yeah, there's no way, right? This is just all bullshit. But, like, maybe it was just the fact that, you know, we were young and naive and we didn't know any better, but, like, we believed it. We just kind of wanted to believe it. This is the thing. People like Waluigi. People wanted Waluigi to be in the game because he's just a silly little guy that people enjoy. I mean, in 2005, there was this thing called Purple Prizes, and for the time, it was a decently well-done Waluigi hoax, and that was confirmed to be fake. But even after that, people didn't stop. Now, in fairness, once Purple Prizes was confirmed to be fake, people kind of hopped off the Waluigi train a bit. Like, they still hoped he was in the game, but you didn't really hear people talk about it. However, a couple years later, something would come around that really got people thinking about Waluigi in Super Mario 64 DS again. And this was where I got wrapped up in all of it, and I loved every fucking second of it. So here's how it all went down. There's this guy called www.wario, and he makes a fake Waluigi leak. He comes out a little bit later and is like, hey, it's just an April Fool's joke. But then, this guy called Arceus2401 hits him up and is like, hey, I unlocked Waluigi in Super Mario 64 DS. Now look, people said shit like this all the time. They'd be like, oh yeah, I unlocked this thing that no one else has unlocked. And if you ever asked them for any proof, they'd be like, oh, sorry, my mom destroyed every camera in the house in a blind rage. However, this is where things get interesting, because Arceus actually did have, well, proof. He sent a bunch of pictures that supposedly proved Waluigi's existence in Super Mario 64 DS, and in fairness, for the time, these were actually kind of convincing. These weren't just like screenshots of the game, no, these were like actual pictures of something running on an actual Nintendo DS, which kind of spoke to their legitimacy somewhat. Now unfortunately, yes, the camera taking these pictures is fucking horrendous. Like, even by 2010 standards, this is a real fucking Flintstones camera. And all the pictures are a bit off. Like realistically, right, if you had, like, this thing that no one else has unlocked in front of you, you wouldn't just take 8 pictures that are all kind of vague. And you'd probably try and get the best camera you possibly could and get the best pictures you probably could. You wouldn't be like, holy shit, I need to prove this to the world. Let me just get the worst camera I have available to me Yeah, let's get a bit of camera shake in there. Yeah, just... Yeah, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. You'd make a bit of a fucking effort, hypothetically. Again, looking back, this all feels a bit silly, but maybe this just hit me at, like, the right time for me to just kind of believe all of it blindly. It was a lot of fun, and, like, yeah, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Like, we were just kids. To us, someone saying something on GameFAQs is just definitive proof. We just had to go and try whatever the fuck they said. And speaking of that, the method of unlocking Waluigi that Arceus gave was really, really interesting, and a big part of why I remember all this so fondly. So let's talk about that now. I'm gonna kind of try and split this into two parts, so here's like the first half of the trick. The first thing you have to do is go to Snowman's Land as Wario and get your hat blown off. Then go back to the castle, swap to Luigi, go to this like mirror room where you go to Wario's level where you unlock him, collect these flowers in an upside down L shape. You get it? Because it's like... It's like Waluigi's. It's like you go to Wario's level, and you collect every coin in the course, which should total up to 79. You collect Wario's cap, which turns you into Wario, and then you go fight Chief Chili. In the normal game, you have to fight him to unlock Wario, but you do things a little bit differently here. You knock him into the water twice, and then instead of knocking him in a third time to finish the fight, you just keep hitting him over and over until you get just over 100 coins and a Mega Mushroom pops out of him. Then you use the Mega Mushroom to land the third hit. Okay, so I want to stop there and talk about this Mega Mushroom, right? So, this sounds like bullshit. It really does. It just sounds so out there. Like, why would kicking a boss over and over again just randomly get you a Mega Mushroom? But here's the thing. That's actually real. Hitting Chief Chili over and over again will knock coins out of him, and getting enough will give you a Mega Mushroom. This is legit. You can go and do this right now if you have Mario 64 DS. And I think this is why I look back on all of this so fondly, because this was like the gotcha moment when I was doing this as a kid. Because like even as a kid, I saw this rumor and I tried it. I wanted it to be real, but of course you don't know until you try it. And this, the mushroom from Chief Chili, is like the first thing in the rumor that sounds like complete bullshit. And it's real. So when I saw that as a kid, it was like, this is it. This is the trick. I am going to unlock Waluigi. And it's just burned into my memory, and I remember it so fondly. I don't really know what the purpose of the Mega Mushroom is, realistically. Maybe it was intended for people who were, like, really struggling with the fight. Like, you keep hitting him over and over again, but you can't get him to the edge, so eventually the game's just like, fuck it, have this. You got this, champ. There's also a hidden Mega Mushroom in the Goomboss boss battle. I've heard there's one in the King Boo one. I can't find it documented anywhere, so I don't know if that's true. But it's pretty interesting. Now, unfortunately, from here on out, this is where everything just kind of goes to shit, because the rest of the supposed method to unlock Waluigi is just complete and utter bullshit. After beating Chief Chili, you supposedly have to wait for 6 hours, go into the blank room in the mirror room, where you'll find Waluigi's door, enter it, you end up in like a negative world, and then you enter the painting at the bottom of the stairs here, which will supposedly have Waluigi's portrait on it. You go in there and you fight a piranha plant, and that apparently unlocks it. Yeah, this all falls apart here. And this is also how, like, I guess you could say Arceus really tricked people into doing this, because that 6-hour wait isn't just a 6-hour wait, supposedly. See, when Arceus originally told Wario about this, he said he just did whatever for the 6 hours, like he went to TikTok clock and randomly got a star. So if anyone ever tried this and were like, hey, there's no Waluigi door after 6 hours, they just go, oh, well, you did the wrong thing in the 6 hours. You know? Arceus doesn't... He claimed to not know what he was doing that unlocked the Waluigi door within that 6 hours. So, anyone who tried this was simply doing the wrong thing. Of course, none of that makes any fucking sense, because, like, how would you not know what unlocked Waluigi in that 6 hours. Are you telling me that you did everything up to this point intentionally to unlock Waluigi? Like, if you're the only person who's unlocked Waluigi, why would you go to Snowman's Land, get Wario's hat blown off, go into Wario's course, do all this random shit, kick the shit out of G? Like, you did all of that like it was normal. But then suddenly, after doing all that, you're just like, oh, I'll just go do whatever for 6 hours. Like, huh? Did you unlock him by accident? Like, none of this makes any sense. And also, to do this, you need all 150 stars. So, why are you collecting a star in TikTok Clock? If you have all 150. Do you just like TikTok Clock? I like it. I don't ever want to go and get a star in there. I just quietly appreciate it. And of course, more and more people like me tried it too and didn't have it work, and they'd all be talking amongst themselves and to Arceus like, hey, why doesn't this work? And yeah, this is where everything falls apart. Arceus just doesn't, you know, respond to anyone, and people start theorizing if it only worked on a Japanese copy of the game, which, like... Okay. Okay, so realistically, why the fuck would you have a 5th character in a game that supposedly only has 4 characters, and not only make them absurdly fucking difficult to unlock, but also only be in one version of the game? Like how did this not click with us as kids, right? Like, can you imagine being the poor bastard who worked on Waluigi in this game? You know, you're working overtime, you're slaving away, getting this purple fuck in the game, and then suddenly fucking Shigeru Miyamoto comes in, and he's like, hey baby, hey, my beautiful baby little princess you, I see you've done some great work on Waluigi here. Yes, he looks wonderful. Listen, I hope you don't mind. We're going to make him so fucking hard to find in this game that maybe 3 people will do it. Also, he's only in one version, so like 99% of the world will never get to appreciate this. Thanks for your work though. Like, it doesn't add up, alright? It never clicked with us as kids, but yeah, shit like this just doesn't make sense. With all that being said though, this is still easily like my favorite video game hoax of all time, and I'm definitely biased, right? I love it so much because I was involved in it. I tried it, and unlike so many other video game hoaxes I tried, it really felt like I got somewhere. That Mega Mushroom that I got from Chief Chili really felt like I'd hit a halfway point. Like I was really onto something. Of course, it was disappointing to not unlock him after all of that, but just that sense of achievement really stuck with me, and maybe that's why I look back on all of this so fondly. I hope you don't mind me trying something different. I've got plenty of fighting game and Pokemon stuff planned, but I enjoyed the Insane Aquarium video so much, I did want to try something else that was just, you know, something new. If you have something like this, like, you know, some kind of video game hoax that you fell for and you worked to try and piece together as a kid, let me know. I find stuff like this really, really interesting. Thanks for watching.